Hi friends, this is Ganesh and video number 4 on Fiori. In this session, I'm going to explain how to generate a custom semantic object because so far the previous videos we have seen semantic object played a major role. So if you want to connect any transactions, SAP transaction with your Fiori Launchpad, we used a semantic object. We found those things from the Fiori library and for the particular transaction or any Fiori applications. So now we are going to create our own transaction. So here the need is, sorry, our own semantic object. Here the need is for my version, suppose the requirement is they want enabled or they want the particular transaction to be added in the Fiori Launchpad, but based on the version, it's not available. So what we can do is we can create our own custom semantic object and we can add it particular transaction which is required for the business. So here the example which I'm taking here is CO01 for my version. That particular app is not available or enabled, I can say. In this case, I'm creating a semantic object, custom semantic object, and I'm going to add the particular transaction to my semantic object. So once it is ready, after that it's very simple how to use the semantic object in your Fiori configuration and your groups. So automatically that will reflect your Fiori Launchpad. So only the basic requirement would be the transaction would be enabled for SAP GUI HTML. Might be you heard about this option, as it's nothing but in SC93. Whenever you create a custom transaction, there are three options available: SAP for Windows, SAP for GUI for HTML, and another one. Sorry, I forgot it. So in that particular option is enabled, then the transaction is it's good enough to keep in Fiori Launchpad. Okay, additionally I will show you creating a custom transaction and enclosed that particular custom transaction in my, again, the same semantic object, and how to configure in Fiori configuration site and target mapping everything, and it will be enabled in the Launchpad. So this is the idea of this particular session. Okay, let me take you to the slides first. Okay, so this is what I mentioned. Mostly the SAP transactions level I'm talking about. We need a semantic object and action that needs to be enabled in Fiori application Launchpad. And here the prerequisite is the transaction to be enabled like SAP GUI for HTML. If the particular transaction, whether it's a standard or custom, if that option is enabled, then it's well and good. That can be available in your Launchpad. Okay, and for this also you need a role. You can use the existing role or you can create a new role. So that is not a new concept over here, because in last two videos we have created a role and we assigned the Fiori Launchpad and catalog as well as the group. The same process you have to do before creating a semantic object. Okay, and if you take a steps, so there are some steps to be followed. So the first would be you have to create a custom semantic object, just a name and description, and it's applicable for which application in SAP, like or PP, whatever it is. We got to create it. So for that you have to use a transaction called semantic object SAP UI2 / semantic object underscore SAP. So here the custom semantic object you can create with ZRY or without ZRY, but mostly preferable is go with ZRY for an easy understanding and client naming convention as well. So without ZRY also you are able to create it. And second step, once the object is created, you have to do a small kind of configuration. So for that, the transaction would be LPD underscore cust is a transaction. So there you're going to create a new launchpad with the role. So if you want everything from scratch, so you have to create a role in launchpad, or you can use the existing role as well. Okay, not an issue. And you have to create a new application. So in this new application, under the same transaction, in this new application you have to give what is the like text description and what is the what do you call application type. Here the application type is transaction. What is the transaction name? What is the alias name? Alias name is very important because we are going to configure the alias name in the target mapping. Okay, So those things we are going to do in a new application. Here, the relationship between the new launchpad and application is one to many. Under one launchpad, you can have n number of applications. So today's scenario, I'm going to have one launchpad, and in that I'm going to have my 001 as well as my custom transaction screen as well. Okay, so those things coming under one launchpad. And PFCG, maybe the role creation and add the relevant component if it is new. I'm not going to use new role over here because we already created it. No need to waste the time over there. So I'm going to use the same role. And if it is a new role, you have to go and do this. So these are 3 steps you have to do. And another things, little technical part, like Fiori configuration. So how to do a Fiori configuration, the 4th step. So here you have to create a tile. So far we have used, or we have grabbed the tile from a existing semantic object or existing catalog. Okay, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new tile from the scratch. So nothing big, just a click that will, excuse me, that will create a tile. And after that, okay, there is a type of the tile: static tile, dynamic tile. So here I'm going to use a static tile over there, and then I'm going to configure the tile with created custom object. So I'm going to create, okay, in this tile, what is the semantic object, which is I'm created one, and what is the type of, what is the role of it, like create or change, whatever it is. And target mapping, you have to create it. These are the same steps whatever we have followed, but little different for the semantic object, custom semantic object. So I'm going to create a mapping with custom semantic object, and the navigation type is little different. So far we use a navigation type is SAP Fiori application. Now you're going to use the type is Fiori application using LPD underscore cust. So there is an option called this one. We have to choose it, and the application allies whatever we are configured in LPD cust, that you have to map it on the application allies under target mapping. Okay, so this is the very important step, how to configure your custom semantic object. Almost 70% is same like the previous one, only 30% is the new one. And finally, include your tiles in the group and execute your tile from the Fiori launchpad. So I hope you're able to follow the steps. So I'm going to do it in the system now. And example, I'm going to take one CO01 transaction, and I have already created one custom transaction which receives the material number and display all the information from Mara table. So that also I'm going to include in my semantic object. Okay, so let's go to the system. This is my system, and here I'm going to create my semantic object first. Okay, so UI to semantic object underscore SAP is a transaction, and execute it. So this is, it's a kind of a view, so you can maintain it whatever you want. And I'm going to click edit. It will show this is a cross client, so better don't change it. That's okay. These are information and warning message, and click new entries. So as I mentioned, you can go with ZRY or without ZRY as well. So both will work. Let me go with CO01. Okay, semantic object name CR. So it's a create. So semantic object is CO01 CR. And what is the semantic object name? You can go with same name or different name. I'll go the same name, and application as PP, and here description. Enable CO01 transaction. So how it's not available, if you open a Fiori launchpad, and I showed you how to get it, the transaction which is enabled or not. I showed you on MM01, it's available, but in the same version I just clicked 001, that particular application is not available. So I choose 001 to be enabled using custom semantic object. That's it. Semantic object is created. It's simple. Save it. Naming convention is very important as per your client. So wherever you are working, if it's a test system, it's good, well and good. Otherwise, better go with ZRY for the easy understanding. So I just go with created in the by default, it will ask a transport request. That is another important point. You can't create it in a local, so that needs to be added in your transport request. Done. Okay, so data was saved. So let me go out of this. So CO01 underscore CR. Okay, and that's it. So this transaction is over, and I'm going to say LPD underscore CUST. Okay, so here this is a little more step, the second step. So first thing in this transaction is I want to create a launchpad, and then I'm going to create an application for it. Let me create a launchpad over here. So here, let me create a new role, not an issue. Maybe the people who are seeing the first time in this video, it will be useful for them. So my naming convention is CGI underscore Fiori roles, okay, F roles. Okay. So what is the instance over here? So instance is transaction. You can get it from the F4 transactional or transaction. You have to go with transaction only. And the description, you can say whatever descriptions you want. It's actually a Fiori roles. Okay. Launchpad for Fiori roles. Okay. So, and the namespace, just go with customer range, customer name range. And the type of launchpad is empty because empty has a value actually. Empty is nothing but standalone launchpad, and go with standalone launchpad and click OK. So this is a new role, so I have to create in PFCG. That I'll show you that also. So now I'm going to create an application. So under this launchpad, this is one launchpad, Fiori roles launchpad. So here you can have n number of applications. First application I'm going to create it CO01. So production order create. So please ignore my spelling mistake. And description, if you want, whenever there is a star, that is mandatory. Otherwise, it's up to you. So 00CO01 transaction. Okay, and what is the application type? Application type is transaction. You have a lot more over here, but I'm going to use my option transaction over here. Then it will display what other fields we have to fill. CO01 is a transaction. System allies, it's a local. So I believe you have an idea about system allies. Suppose it's not a system, to get it from here, you have to enter the system allies name and click show advanced parameters. Okay, and here you have an option called application allies. It's automatically filled the GUI type, SAP GUI for HTML. And this is important. You have to give the application type over here. Allies, sorry, application allies, CO01 underscore create. Okay. And that's it. So a few things are not enabled directly, you are not able to do it because it's a text editor. So you have to click this button and that will enable, then you can write it whatever you want. That's it, and click save at the bottom. Save successfully. You will get one entry over here. So it shows CO transaction. Okay. So that is nothing but the name, whatever I given over here. Okay. Why? 1 second. Create production order. Yeah, some was missed. So create production order as the name and save it. Maybe the down bottom or control S. So step 2 is done. And step 3, the roles we have to do it. So let me go to /opfcg. The role name which I given over there, it's actually does not exist, so you have to create it. Okay, so FCG role. So this is Fiori roles, and go to menu. Okay, save it, and here go to menu. These two things you have to add it. So you have to add a Fiori catalog. So my Fiori name is Fiori. So this is actually I'm following from last two videos, the same name. It's nothing but Fiori applications or Fiori samples. This is my catalog, and I need to add a group. Same way, go here and click group, and here the group name is also almost same like Fiori. Just press F4 and here it is, Fiori group. Continue. So these two to be added. Suppose if you use the existing roles, this step you can skip it and go to user and the username. Best. So this is third step. So we have completed the basic steps to create a semantic object. We created a semantic object, we created a launchpad, and we created an application on it, CO01. And finally, we enabled or we created a role and enabled the transaction in the catalog and group in the same role for the same user. Okay. Now go to the Fiori configurations. So before that, I want to show you the option where you have to see whether the customer transaction, sorry, custom or standard transaction code. Go to the particular SE93, this option to be enabled, SAP GUI for HTML. Okay, so then this transaction is applicable to open or to enable in your Fiori Launchpad. Okay, so now I already opened the configuration places. So you know what is the transaction to go over there. So this is my group. Let me go to catalog. And this is the application. So here I'm going to create a tile. Just click. I'm going to create app launcher static tile. So this is a remote system, so it might take a few seconds more compared to your client place where you are working, or some other information, sorry, some other render system. Okay, added successfully. Yes, it's opened it. And the title, create production order, subtitle 001. 001, that's fine, whatever you want you can give. So here the semantic object, what are the object you created? CGI, I created the CO01 and underscore CR. It takes some time to list it out, otherwise it should list it like this, CO02, like this, because this is already created. All the semantic objects start with 0, it should list it out. Sometimes it might take time, so that's okay. Create, and action is create. So this is standard action, it's not coming from your semantic object. If you click F4, whatever transactions or whatever semantic object you use, so mostly you will find these are the options, actions available. Okay, so from here I'm going to click create. So don't think I'm not creating any create action for my own custom semantic object, just leave it and click tab. Okay, and then save it. Only these informations are mandatory, so just click save. So I'm in the creating my custom tile over here. Okay, so it's created over here. So create production order. So the tiles is ready. So I'm going to get target mapping. So you can see the count, 4 tiles and 3 target mapping. Now go to target mapping and click create target mapping from the down. It will open up, and here you have to give the semantic object name. Along with that, the type would be SAP Fiori application with what is that? LPD underscore cust. So that is the application type you got to do. Give the same semantic object CO01. So here it is coming, right? I told, right? It'll take some time. So that's okay. And here, but it's not for all the systems. So if you work directly, it won't come, maybe because of the remote. And here I'm saying application type as application using LPD underscore cust, and the role. So this is very important, the configuration, because sometimes you might not able to see your tiles, it not loaded properly because these informations might be wrong. So I'm going to say roles, and this is the one. Oh, sorry, it's F. Yeah, Fiori roles. Yeah, and launchpad transaction, it comes automatically transaction. Otherwise, you have to enter transaction over there. Apply application allies, whatever you have given in the application transaction, LPD cust. So let me show you that as well. So here my application allies for this transaction is CO01 underscore CR. So go to the configuration page. So CR01 underscore CR. Okay, that's it. So no application ID over here. So this is the information you have to give in your target mapping page. Okay, So semantic object, application type, role and instance, then application aliases. Save it from the bottom. It's added in the list, target mapping. So CO01 underscore CR is my semantic object, action is create, and the navigation type is application using LPD cust. Okay. Now go to group. Hereafter, it's very simple. Add it in your group and open it in your launchpad. So let me go to the group. All right. So get my group. So get our group. Yeah. Fiori group over here. Add it. And get from the catalog. Fiori catalog. Fiori samples. And add it. Create production order. Go back. So then once it is added, everything is done. Go to your home page of your Fiori launchpad, go get into the group, whatever group we created, Fiori group. Then you have the tiles. Just go ahead. Go to home page over here. I think I need to refresh it. Let's see. If the tiles is not available, let me refresh the page. And it should be over here. Fiori group over here, yes. Okay, so yes, I need to refresh it. Let me refresh this. So here it's reflect in my launchpad. So here I'm just pass the video and the recording because it takes more time to refresh or the pop the window. So that's why in sometimes I just keep in the pass. Okay. So here this is the tile. Just if you click it, it should open. It's not opening. So let me check my configurations, especially the target mapping. It's there. This is my target mapping, and I need to check my tiles as well. Let me go to check the target mapping first. Is there any mistake I did over here? Because it's a very straightforward configurations. So semantics CO01CR create 0 role F roles only transaction C. Oh no. Okay, this is actually CO01. This is my application alias. I showed you there, but I copied wrongly. I believe this is the one. Yeah, C01 underscore CR. That is my application alias. Okay, that is the mistake I did. So change it and save it. So once it is done, I need to refresh it again, my home page. Then I'll show you how it's reflected. So as changes are done, let me go to my home page. Launchpad, just refresh it. It might take few minutes to load it again. So that's why I keep on pausing my recording. So I refreshed it and now I'm going to select my create production order. Yes, it's going. So if there is any issue like this, check your configurations. Might be a small spelling mistake or something is not active or saved properly. Just check it. So everything is done now. So now what I'm going to do is, this is for standard transaction. So I'm going to have the same process. I'm going to do it for my custom transaction as well. Okay. I have a custom transaction. So this is my custom transaction, Y screen Fiori. So it's a simple program. I have a matner. There is no label, so forget about it. Matner and some option and checkboxes. I want to show you this is also possible in the Fiori Launchpad. That's why. So, and if I execute, it just take all the data from Mara table. So that's what the program is designed. So I'm going to have this in my Fiori Launchpad. So the prerequisite would be SAP GUI for HTML is enabled, and the program has only some selection screen parameters and direct information from Mara. Whatever information you're providing based on the user, it will take the data from Mara table. It takes all the fields, okay, and just display as a ALB grid display. That's it. So now I'm going to create, I need to start from step number 2 because, sorry, step number 1 Only thing is I don't want to create the role again because the launchpad is already available. So only I can skip that role. Okay. So let me create a semantic object for this. Okay. Transaction a semantic object underscore SAP execute edit cross client, that's okay, and click new entry. And now I'm going to start with Z. Okay, ZGI cust transaction or customer screen, whatever it is. Okay, so semantic object is ZGI customer screen, just a difference between the object and object name. Okay, and this is and semantic object description. So get material details. Okay, save it in the transport request. Not transport, that's fine because that way they configure, that is okay, just ignore it. So custom semantic object I have created. So now what I'm going to do is, okay, so now the next step, go to lpd underscore cust transaction, and I don't want to create a launchpad because launchpad and the application can have 1 to n relationship. So let me find my role, CGI underscore Fiori roles. It's over here. Just double click. Yep. So this one we created already, CO01. I'm going to add one more application here. Just click new application. So here it is, reports for material details. For material details, and application type is transaction. Transaction code is YGI. It's already there. Underscore screen underscore Fiori. That is a transaction which I created already. And this is local. Show advanced option. And the application alias name. So here it is, Fiori screen. Just give whatever name you want. Just you have to remember it. That's it. Fiori underscore screen. And rest of the options are already filled properly, SAP, HTML and everything. Just click save. So from here you have to remember what is the application alias name. Click save. Database, data has been saved successfully, and that is enabled over here also. Okay, and make sure your whatever name you given, it's reflecting over here, because it should not show inactive application. It should be a active application with name whatever you given, and the application description is transaction. So now go to my configuration page, and I need one more tiles, I believe. Okay, I'm an application only. Just create one more tile. Static. Need some more seconds to load. Yes, it's done. It's added successfully. So now we can configure. Give the semantic object name. So title, material, details, subtitle. So from Mara. Okay. And semantic object. So out of the semantic object we have created, start with Z. ZGI. I believe it should. I think it's not ready. Let me copy from there. So position ZGI. So here the semantic object is customer screen, right? So this is the one. Copy. And well, it takes some time. Just, yeah, paste it. Semantic object. and action is it's actually a report kind of. So I can say display fact sheet, or here display. Okay. So the action is display and click save. It just determine the target URL based on your semantic object and your action. So once it is saved, we'll add it in the group. I'm sorry, target mapping is pending. And I had to create the target mapping for this and saved, then include in a group, then that will be launched in your Fiori launchpad. Okay. So this issue is coming because of the cache. I believe once I refreshed or clear the cache, or I closed and opened the transaction, it will be saved successfully. So I don't want to remove this. So you might also have this kind of issue. Configured is not saved. It not giving any proper information. So one of the reason is just refresh your page. Better you close and reopen it or clear the cache, then it will work. I'm going to do the same. Okay. And I'll just close and come back. I'll show you how it's saved in my catalog. So here I closed and I opened again through the transaction. Okay, so here these things are removed. Let me add it again. Fiori. Okay, it's actually material details and custom report. Same semantic object, action is display, and click save. So hope this kind of issue won't happen in your client system, because this is used many people and the rental one. So that's why we are getting these issues. But it's well and good once you open or used any client information systems. Okay. Click save. This time it should work. That's right. Yes. So simply we just resolved one simple issue. So try the same if you get the same issue. Okay. Now I need to go to target mapping, and I need to add one more target mapping for my custom transaction. So here I have to use same semantic object, action, and the navigation type is Fiori application using LPD cust. So here my I think, yeah, here it is, custom screen. So it was not display in the tiles perspective because it takes some time or refresh. So that's fine. You just copy paste it if it is not listed in your semantic object one. So here I go with display, and the application type is LPD cust, and the role is CGI underscore Fiori roles. Then so this is transaction, launchpad instance, and the alias name. What is the alias name? So let me go and see what is the alias name. Not this one. I think it's not refreshed. I opened another session. Yes, here it is. So my alias name is Fiori underscore screen. That's it. Okay. And click save at the bottom. So it's done. So here it shows ZGI cust screen display and LPD cust. Okay. So the final step, go to group, add it in your Fiori group. That's it. Launch it from your Fiori launchpad. So let me get my group over here. Fiori group. I need to include the tile and get it from my catalog. Sorry, our catalog. Fiori samples, enable it, go back, and it will add soon. So let me go to my home screen. Meantime, I'll just refresh this because it takes some more minutes to load it. So yes, it's added in my group. Okay, it's refreshed. So here it is in the Fiori group. It showed material detail. This is the one which I added recently, and just click this one. It will show you the same screen whatever you have seen in the custom transaction, and if you go enter values and press execute, it will take because the code is already there. And here I'm going to click execute. So without entries, you know about select option, it takes all the data from the table and I displayed it in the ALE format, and it's displayed the same in the Fiori Launchpad as well. So this is it about the custom semantic object. Here we used only transaction under the semantic object. We have some other options as well. We'll see one by one. If you have a time and interest, please play around with this. And if you have any questions on it, please let me know. I'm happy to help. Once you see the output, we can close this session. It's take few time because it's I just do the select star. So here, this is the display from that report. It's simple. So whenever you want to enable a transaction from your SAP custom transaction or standard in your Fiori application, so go with the create a semantic object, map it, and that will be ready. Thank you so much once again, and see you in the next video. Bye.